In the middle of last year, Fisch was released to the public. It was created by Nate, also known as Woozy Nate, and a team of a few passionate creators. It quickly gained traction for being a chill game to hang out with friends and flex big fish you would catch. I assume that you've already heard or even played Fisch before because you clicked on this video, and if you have, you would also know that in late 2024, the game was acquired from Nate and his team by Big Studios. If you don't know who they are, they also own Blade Ball and Dusty Trip, ruining both with endless microtransactions. This wasn't a passionate studio that cared about the players, all they cared about was money, and eventually that greed found its way to Fisch. No one was happy, especially Nate, who was feeling exceptionally bad for selling the game people once loved and would play for hours and turning it into a cash grab and pay to win game. The idea of saving this game was out the window, but Nate and his team were not ready to give up just yet. For months, they built, scripted, even composed a brand new game, a fresh start away from Big. And in June of this year, they put out their new game for paid beta testing for 25 Robux. And soon, TikTok caught wind of this game, and it didn't stay unnoticed for long.
This brand new game
Roblox Dig is coming soon in year 17. First, there will be a training system, so no more worrying about just and there's also new class.
So now you're caught up to where we are now, specifically 6 hours before its official release, where it'd be opened up for anyone to play. And I, being late as always, decided to pay 25 Robux for a game that was coming out later that day. And I swear it was for a good reason. You see, anyone who played the game in paid testing would get rewards when it came out. One thing led to another. So yeah, I think I got FOMO'd, but it's fine. It was only 25 Robux. Okay, this is Dig, and first impressions, this looks absolutely stunning. It's got the same art style and visuals as Fisch, and that game looked amazing too. Even with performance mode on, the models, the lighting, everything just comes together in a coherent and more importantly, unique style. On top of that, the game has all the features of Fisch and then some, with charms, new modifiers, and the two things that were the most major additions to the game, cars and boss fights. This game has digging instead of fishing, if it wasn't already obvious in the name. The digging mechanic actually feels quite smooth, other than the fact that you can lose one of the rarest items in the game if you sneeze in the wrong time. Once you have a digging streak, it proudly displays it above your name tag, and when you lose it, it will server-wide announce that you have lost it so everyone in the server can roast you. So cars are this game's version of boats, where instead of having lots of small islands dotted around the map, it's located on one massive island called Cinder Island, with 7 major POIs, and lots more small buildings and locations dotted inside them. And from what I can tell, this map works really well with the cars. I didn't buy any other cars except for the ATV, and aside from the turning and going up and down slopes, it was great. You can tell the map was made with art, passion, and love from the creators. Luckily, they did make cars very accessible for beginners, because the map is almost impossible to navigate around in without one. With the first car being $500, you can afford it very easily. And the addition that I was looking forward most to, boss fights. Shovels have a boss damage quality in them, and to damage them you need to dig, which is a nice way to connect the game's main system to the boss fights. There are 6 bosses spread around the map: King Crab, Candlelight Phantom, Giant Spider, Basilisk, Molten Monstrosity, and the strongest boss of them all, the Fuzzball. There are also NPCs around the map to interact with, some only talking to you, and some giving quests to dig up certain items, or just general tasks like digging and selling. There are also enchantments, which work almost identical to the Fisch system. But now we've covered what they added. Why is this the game everyone has been waiting for? Well, for months, Fisch was the #1 game on Roblox, consistently getting 500,000 concurrent players on weekends. People didn't just love this game, they couldn't get enough of it. So when Big bought it, people were not very excited for the future of Fisch, with it getting so bad that Nate had to come forward saying that Fisch would stay how it had always been. Mostly free to play, but would now receive more frequent updates because Big would give them people to work on it, alongside Nate and his team. Many of you know that this wouldn't be the case, and with Fisch dying out and receiving pay-to-win updates, people began to move to different games. Games like Dead Rails would come out, be put in the spotlight only for rip-offs to come flooding through Roblox just so people could earn a quick buck. You see, games like Fisch are virtually untouchable when it comes to rip-offs, with Dead Rails having an easy to replicate art style and overall gameplay mechanics, allowing people to replicate it with a slight twist. Because Fisch has such a unique style and experience when it comes to playing it, this took weeks, even months to perfect, and people who wanted quick money to leech off of Fisch's success rarely surfaced due to the community being strong. And the main issue, games in this style need effort to work. Fisch was made by a group of passionate creators in the Roblox developing community, and most others just aren't. They aren't willing to spend time perfecting mechanics, they aren't willing to spend months perfecting lighting and the map, and most importantly, they aren't willing to copy Fisch, purely because it was so difficult to replicate. Yes, there are games similar to Fisch. In fact, there are digging game copies of Fisch that came out months before Dig was even released, but they just don't have the same feel, the same experience. Fans were waiting eagerly for another game like Fisch to come around, instead of giving AI, brain rot, pay to win, and low effort games that they hated. Now that Dig is here, the same charm of Fisch is back, and it's in full throttle. And the most important thing, that Nate has learnt from selling his game to large studios and instead working on them, with just as much passion put into it as he did when creating it. And if this game does well, hopefully, just hopefully, developers on Roblox will see that games with effort put into them can do well, can make money, and most importantly, can form a strong and loyal fan base. Now, it's easy to say that this game will eventually become pay to win, just like Fisch did back in December of 2024, and that is the reason why you're ignoring the game and not playing it, but Nate and his team have stated that they will not be selling the game at all for any amount of money, and that we have nothing to worry about, which I honestly think is trustworthy. They feel bad for handing Fisch over to Do Big, and they want to rebuild the trust they previously had. They are far more experienced now, and sure, there are some game passes, but they don't necessarily make you better than anyone else. They just enhance your experience. They are reasonably priced and completely optional, so even if you aren't interested, I say just play it for a bit and then make a final judgment, because this is an amazing game that will be better than Fisch and has a ton of potential. And that is why Dig is the new Fisch that everyone has been waiting for.